Listen up closely, I know lately you're a bit lonely. Did you know on your phone there's a whole world full of girls you could be looking at, homie? It's true, between me and you, it's only $5 and watch what they do. Let's get high, lose track of time. Come on man, you know I'm a damn good time. Yo, if they're gonna post it, no clothing, oh my god, so exposed and everything. You might as well see everything, every inch, never leave, a growing need. Wait, maybe you should DM, be friends, pretend, a boyfriend, the deep end. She needs men, she needs you and your dues. Get out of my head, get out of my mind. I need to focus, I'm wasting my time. You make me feel hopeless, I'm wasting my prime. Fuck it, I'm going to war with my mind. I'm in control, my body and soul. Never again will you ever take hold. I've got a purpose outside of this hole, and I'll turn this feeling into something more. I could change, rearrange my brain. Thoughts and energy push through pain. Loneliness is a passing phase. A better life, it starts today. Once hopeless and broken, now I'm in motion. Just gotta stay focused. Keep moving, keep growing. Never look back, got a new path chosen.
There's a time when we are weak, when we are broken. Often are left open in darkness. It's all of our flaws that keep us hopeless. Numb our minds and choke us. We're all in control. I'll start taking off. I'll climb out this hole. I'll find out what's wrong. Bring my heart
How's everyone doing right now? Yeah. Okay. So I'm back. It's only been a month. Yes, this is a new setup. If you watched my video earlier, you know why. You know what's up. I'm having a little bit of trouble with Twitter for some reason. Don't know why. I might have to fix that later. But for right now, at least everyone can see me on YouTube. Now, we're going to be working on other platforms as well, so we'll figure out how all that works later. I was going to be using the R10. And believe me, I would much rather be using the R10. The camera angle and everything's already set up perfect. But the dummy battery I'm using keeps on not charging correctly. So anyway, there's that. So we are doing a watch along. I hope you guys are ready for it. So let's get to that. And how do you change title in the thing? I know you can. Oh, I'm so out of practice. How's it sound? Okay. So we're going to watch two things today. We're going to watch a little bit of the back end of Trent Horn. And then we're going to watch a little bit of the back end of, not even the back end, of, oh, I can't remember the name of the thing. Hold on, I'll tell you right now. Did it not save it? Where is that? A review of Gavin Ortland's book by Ward on Words. But first, let's look at some Trent Horn, the Trent Horn of it all. So this won't be an every night thing, at least not for a little while, but it will. We will get back to it eventually. We will eventually have everything working again. Hold on, I'm just checking something. Making sure we are on and we are good. This is not a test stream. This is stream number 1. I need to fix that title. How's sound? Do we have sound? That's what I want to know. Okay, we have sound. We have a better camera angle. We have better sound. Let's do this.
Recently, many people have been fired because of comments they made about the assassination of Charlie Kirk, which kicked off a lot of debates about free speech and cancel culture. So in today's episode, we're going to tackle the question, should Christians support cancel culture? But first, another question we have to address, should Christians support the Council of Trent? Yes, they should. Click the subscribe button and hit the like so that other people can benefit from our content. And don't forget to support us at TrentHornPodcast.com. All right, but first, we have to define cancel culture, and that's really the source of the problem in this debate.
Okay, I don't really care about this part. Where are we? Let's see. I don't think we should be asking for censorship. I'll be very blunt with you. Start off over here.
View cancel culture. Let's start with the words of our Lord in Matthew chapter 12. How can you speak good when you are evil? For out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. The good man out of his good treasure brings forth good, and the evil man out of his evil treasure brings forth evil. I tell you, on the day of judgment, men will render account for every careless word they utter. For by your words you will be justified, and by your words you will be condemned. Everyone agrees that there should be some consequences for the words we say. Where we disagree is on what the consequences should be. So I've broken down 4 guidelines when it comes to moving forward in the conversation regarding speech and cancel culture. Number 1, violence is never an appropriate response to speech. Speech, no matter how offensive, never merits violence against innocent people. It never justifies something like the shootings of the staff of the French newspaper Charlie Hebdo for publishing images of the false prophet Muhammad. The problem is when people equate speech and violence and say we should treat them the same way, such as by treating people who say Nazi things as if they were literal Nazis from 1943. Other people take it a step further and say that if Muslims are told they must tolerate offensive speech and can't punish those who disagree with them, then Christians must do the same thing and cannot punish those who say offensive things about the passing of Charlie Kirk, for example. Consider this post from Mehdi Hassan. He wrote, I remember how much Muslims were lectured about the importance of a right to offend being part of a right to free speech. We were told that we must accept offensive and racist remarks about our faith, our prophet, etc., in the name of free speech and integrating into Western civilization, Voltaire and the rest. Those same folks who lectured Muslims are now saying to people that they cannot be offensive about a dead conservative influencer, and they will be punished if they do so, even if being offensive in one's speech is literally what the First Amendment guarantees. Oh, the hypocrisy. Oh, the gaslighting. Here's what Hassan doesn't understand. As a Muslim, you are free to call me all kinds of terrible names for posting this image of the Prophet Muhammad, an image, by the way, that a Muslim created in the 14th century. You can say anything you want and get angry about it. The only acceptance we ask for is that you don't cut our heads off in response, literally or virtually, such as by manipulating YouTube's community standards to maliciously flag videos in order to censor speech you don't like. And in turn, we won't do the same to you, even if you criticize us or our religion in harsh terms. That's how a free society works and promotes human flourishing. Sure, if a Muslim company is angry that an employee insulted Islam or the Prophet Muhammad, the false Prophet Muhammad, I should say.
Okay.
Legally punish speech. In countries with totalitarian regimes, you can be legally punished for any speech that offends dear leader. But even in some Western democracies, you can be legally punished for speech that offends people, as is the case in England, where you can be arrested for silently praying outside an abortion.
So just straight up, I believe in free speech. I'm not like into libertarian free speech, but just a general, basic free speech. I'm 100% for freedom of speech, freedom of the press. Yes, it doesn't mean freedom from consequences. It doesn't mean freedom from people not watching your show. I think people not watching your show is very different than freedom of speech violations. Freedom of speech is violated when the government is the one who steps in. Censorship in general is not a good thing, but you have the right to choose not to watch something. You have the right to choose to change the channel or watch a different program or block someone on YouTube, on Twitter. So I do think there's a lot more there than Trent Horn is diving into.
Facility, or in Germany, where it's a crime to deny the Holocaust. I've publicly engaged Holocaust deniers, and I believe the best way to respond to error is not to outlaw it, but to refute it. That's why I'm grateful to live in the United States, where there is a robust protection of speech through the First Amendment of the Constitution. Falsely shouting fire under the First Amendment, such as telling a rioting mob to burn down its educational mission. However, as the 1969 case of Tinker versus
The idea that language is never violence is a little reductive and just not true. Calls for violence is violence, or at least the premeditation of violence. So it should have a consequence, a legal consequence, not going to jail, but maybe a fine. And if someone takes your threats literal and follows through on them for you, then yeah, you should be held accountable for that. That doesn't mean that you have to go to jail, but it does mean, have to face some legal consequences. Who knows? Some social consequences, some civil consequences, maybe. That's different than not having free speech, though. That's not the government stepping in. That's saying, hey, you did a thing and you were irresponsible with your free speech. Here's the consequence. That doesn't mean that you saying something hateful or hurtful should be considered a violation of whatever civil code is out there. That's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about F words, stuff like that. But threats of violence should be treated as legal violations. Threats of violence are very different than insults. Insults are fine.
as Des Moines says, students do not, quote, shed their constitutional rights to freedom of speech or expression at the schoolhouse killer, run afoul of public broadcasting laws. However, private companies and private sponsors can say they don't want to support Kimmel anymore because his rants, disguised as comedy, alien.
I think this is where me and Trent actually started disagreeing with each other. I might go get some more liquid. Give me a second. I'll be right back. There's nobody in the room yet anyway, so I'll be back.
alienate too many people, and so they represent a bad business investment on the part of his sponsors. Which brings me to my third guideline. Number 3, freedom of speech is not freedom from consequences. Just because speech should not incur legal punishment doesn't mean you don't deserve negative consequences because of something you said. Here's a woman complaining about how publicizing teachers who said horrible things about Charlie Kirk's murder allegedly violates the free speech principles that Kirk promoted.
Charlie Kirk built his platform on free speech. Now adults are being doxxed and put on watch lists for exercising that same right in a space that has absolutely nothing to do with their job.
Or consider this post from Congresswoman Ilhan Omar. To those claiming they're for free speech while punishing and silencing those for exercising that right, you're not pro-free speech. Yes, we are. Because you can say a person does not deserve to go to jail. Too many people, and so they represent a bad business investment on the part of his sponsors. Which brings me to my third guideline. Number 3, freedom of speech is not freedom from consequences. Just because speech should...
So I agree in principle here, but what he's going to actually say, I disagree with. This happens a lot with Trent. In principle, I agree with him on stuff, and then his actual stance is like gross or too far, too conservative, or too political.
Not incur legal punishment doesn't mean you don't deserve negative consequences because of something you said. Here's a woman complaining about how publicizing teachers who said horrible things about Charlie Kirk's murder allegedly violates the free speech principles that Kirk promoted.
Charlie Kirk built his platform on free speech. Now adults are being doxxed and put on watch lists for exercising that same right in a space that has absolutely nothing to
I think doxing is always wrong, period.
do with their job.
Or consider this post from Congresswoman Ilhan Omar. To those claiming they're for free speech while punishing and silencing those for exercising that right, you're not pro-free speech. Yes, we are. Because you can say a person does not deserve to go to jail for speech, i.e. be pro-free speech, while also saying they deserve to lose their job for the horrible thing that they said. It's not a crime to be a bad person.
So, I don't think anybody should lose their job for something that they said that's not related to their job. Don't get me wrong. They say something stupid at their job, or they insult a group of people, or they show, bigotry or bias in a way that is ethically in a way that is an ethical violation for their job, then yeah, they should be fired. But if they have a political opinion that is unpopular, that is not a reason to be fired. If they dislike someone and if they dislike a popular person, that's not a reason to be fired. I'm sorry. I just disagree with Trent Horn here completely.
But bad people can hurt their employers through negative publicity and boycotts, and so the employer might let them go. It truly astounds me the number of people who don't get this principle. Here's a clip of S.E. Cupp from CNN.
We have to be able to talk about the things that we disagree with. We have to do that civilly, but we can't punish people for disagreeing with us. We can't punish people for being jerks and celebrating the death of someone. That's not illegal, and that shouldn't be who we are.
It shouldn't be illegal. No, you have the right to block them, unfollow them, not listen to them, discount them. But Trent's willingness to use the pressures of the majority or social consequences as a means, as a bludgeoning tool, is honestly anti-democratic and I think anti-Christian.
The conservative movement does not want the government legally punishing people for being jerks. All that's happened is we're letting employers know your employee is a jerk, and it's up to the employer to decide, no, he isn't, this is just a dumb online mob, or, oh wow, I can't believe he said that, yeah, he's got to go. It's not illegal to be a bad person. If someone is morally compromised, however, then they should not be trusted with things like the education.
Again, your definition of morally compromised is not the same definition as other people's moral compromise. Your moral standards are not the majority moral standard. And we live in a pluralistic, democratic country.
education of young people. Ilhan Omar believes this, that bad speech yields bad consequences, because she wrote the following in 2022 on Twitter, back before Elon.
First off, she's a hypocrite. Secondly, she's politically minded. She's not saying what she believes, she's saying what is politically expedient. So, again, I caught her face really doesn't work for this person.
Musk bought the platform. Does the First Amendment protect your freedom of speech? Yeah, consequences like everything else in life. What's happening now is liberals are basically saying, hey, in 2020, you said cancel culture was bad, but now you guys are
Cancel culture is bad. Censorship is wrong.
canceling us. How is that fair?
Right now, Republicans are trying to expose and get people fired from their jobs if they mocked Charlie Kirk's death on social media. Now, let me be clear.
Let me be clear. It's wrong when someone on the right does it to someone on the left. It's wrong when someone on the left does it to someone on the right. You shouldn't be making fun of people dying. And you shouldn't be trying to get people fired for being gross or blasphemous. People have the right to do that in a pluralistic society.
I don't think anybody should be mocking it, but aren't the Republicans the ones who decry cancel culture for years?
Cancel culture that used an artificially riled up online mob to get people fired.
So, cancel culture is wrong. Trying to get people fired from their jobs for their political or social beliefs is wrong. But also going at them because they don't agree with your morality is also a wrong trend. You're just wrong. And so are the people who are doing the thing that you're complaining about. You're both wrong. It's a both and situation.
For simply uttering truths about the world, like that marriage is between a man and a woman, is wrong. These were virtual lynch mobs designed to keep people in line with leftist dogma. But merely pointing out when someone does something true.
Yeah, but not everyone shares your morality. And your dogma is not any better or any worse than their dogma. You understand? From a legal perspective, even if I agree that you're right, theologically, lived reality, people don't all believe in the same God. People don't all believe in the same morality. People don't all believe in the same thing. Sorry, man. You're just wrong here.
Truly awful, and thus deserves appropriate social consequences for their actions is not the same thing. Matt Walsh put it this way: there is a big difference between the left canceling people and
Matt Walsh is a terrible example of a good person. He's one of the least Christian sounding people I know. Him and Destiny are both equally people I don't want to listen to.
the right canceling people. The left cancels you for saying things that are true. To the extent that the right cancels you, it is for saying things that are aberrant and sick. A pretty important distinction. So we see the problem isn't cancel culture, just like the...
It's a judgment call. It's a personal bias, personal taste situation. It's not an actual situation. Just because the majority thinks something is true doesn't make it true.
Problem isn't guns. Guns are only bad if you shoot the wrong people. And canceling is only bad if you cancel the wrong people, which leads to my final point. Number 4, the consequence...
Okay. That's it for that. Let's go hear the other guy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a book there. Whenever I'm talking about a book, the book's going to go right there. I have a little stand for the book. Okay, let's see. Where are we at?
A few months ago, I received a little letter over Twitter direct messages from an ex-Protestant YouTuber who's now Eastern Orthodox. He wanted to dialogue on his channel about.
I don't have enough time to go over all of this. I'm just going to highlight some brief parts of this. We might actually watch this a few nights in a row. But yeah, streams are back. Videos are back. We'll figure it out. I need to work out. I need to write. I don't know how I'm going to schedule those things in, but streams are back. Okay, not every day, but we'll be doing them.
About the Septuagint, the Greek translation of the Old Testament. He was very courteous. We had a private dialogue that lasted for some time, and indeed is not perhaps over yet. I was hesitant.
This video, actually, I found a little bit distressing, very disappointing, and a little bit heartbreaking. Should I bring the camera closer? The other one has zoom. This one doesn't have zoom.
To appear on his channel, not only because my general experience with orthodoxy leads me to be greatly suspicious of it, but because I had just read an excellent book that discussed in detail why Protestantism needs to exist in the face of its two major alternatives, Catholicism.
I gotta say, I really didn't like Evan Ortland's book. It really disappointed me.
And orthodoxy. I try to stay in my lane on this channel. I focus on Bible translation, on Bible interpretation. I'm a languages guy, but I'm going to make an exception for this
We're gonna go about 3 more minutes because nobody's in the room. So
video because I just loved this book. It's by a fellow YouTuber whose work I admire greatly. The book is What It Means to Be Protestant, The Case for an Always Reforming Church, and the author is Gavin Ortland. The book came out in 2024, and I read it earlier this year.
I read the book twice, and I regretted reading it each time.
I don't have a copy to show you on the video because I gave mine away.
I read it, and I listened to the audiobook. Wasn't worth it.
To a precocious young man at my church, and I even bought another copy for another friend who announced he was converting to Roman Catholicism. I'm going to share the review of this book that I wrote for the Detroit Baptist Seminary Journal. It's been somewhat edited and somewhat expanded and personalized.
Oh, I am starting up a Substack, so here's how it's going to go. Main channel is going to be this channel. Yes, the other 2 channels still exist, but this is going to be my main focus. Then we will put memberships and other things into our Discord, and all of my scripts will now be archived on Substack, and they will be expanded, so there will be longer versions of the videos that I do. I'm still gonna only be doing like 1 topic video per month now, maybe. I don't know, it depends on how quickly I read. We're gonna be doing book reviews and debate reviews. That's still happening, but the scripts will be a little bit longer, and they will be available on Substack. And what I put onto the internet on this channel will be a little bit more edited and a little bit cleaner. Uh-oh. Someone's watching.
For YouTube, I'm shooting this in my wife's garden as the flower season winds to a close. Then I'm going to end with
That looks beautiful for a background.
how I used Ortland's book's argument in my actual conversation with an adherent of Eastern Orthodoxy. I'm going to ask for your input on that discussion, too, at the end of the video. This excellent, confident book is what happens when a gracious and knowledgeable Protestant apologist refines his doctrinal and historical arguments against Eastern Orthodoxy, and especially
2 more minutes.
Roman Catholicism, through repeated and lengthy internet dialogue. I recognize the kind of book that is thus created. It's a book in which one's opponent's arguments need not be anticipated or guessed at because they've already been experienced. Ortland writes confidently.
Just because an argument is popular doesn't mean that it's a good argument, though. You know?
Because he knows the arguments that actual Roman Catholics and Eastern Orthodox actually use. Arguments come at different levels, from the insulting to the immature to the intellectual. Social media figures such as Ortland get them all relentlessly from commenters. Ask me how I know this.
And yet he hasn't answered any of my questions or accusations or any of my comments. And me and him used to kind of dialogue with each other back before he got really huge. So I am a little sad that Gavin never responded to my video critiquing his book.
But Ortland, I would guess, gets comments on the border between immature and intellectual most often. Ortland, I hypothesize, hears from many Catholic and Orthodox who are intelligent and dedicated, but not academically trained in historical theology. It is
Wait till he gets a load of me.
true, therefore, that Ortland's interlocutors...
Okay. So that's it for today. We're going to do a short stream. It's going to be short streams from now on for the watch-alongs, but they will get better. We are going to get a better camera. It was working yesterday. It was starting to work today, but the dummy battery I have for it isn't very stable. I need to get a better dummy battery. All right. Let's go to the ending soon. Is this one? Okay. So, peace, like, and subscribe. The channel is back. I am back. We are going to be doing things here. Remember, Kick is going to be social commentary. Twitter is going to be book reviews, debate reviews, and live streams. Gaming is going to be Twitch, Kick, and my second YouTube channel, third YouTube channel, and my working out videos, all that kind of stuff is going to be on my workout channel, Wanna Workout, which is going to be like mountain bike riding, skateboarding, that kind of thing. All right, that's it. Talk to you all later. Peace, like, and subscribe. Yes, I know, the Nora out.